Hello, and welcome to this kind of a review video I want to do of three different things. Last week we had the Defenders come out. I'm going to talk about that. Today we had Death Note come out as well on Netflix, though it was a movie and not a show, as some people might have thought it was a movie. It's an hour and 1 hour and 20 minutes long, and then we also had on Amazon Prime, we had The Tick come out. Now, first off, and foremost, I was about to say, first off, the Defenders. First off, though, if you haven't seen any of these, this is a spoiler talk, so I ain't gonna do no spoiler-free review on this shit. You know, if you don't want to be hearing about spoilers of what happened, just skip past it. The only thing I'll say right now, first and foremost, that's not spoilery, is like, the Defenders I thought was enjoyable. It was good, 6 episodes, I believe, not too bad. Death Note, I felt the pacing was off with that movie. I felt that it's anime/manga, and they kind of did 2 movies in Japan, which I thought were okay. But the direction they took here, not outside the whole aspects of whitewashing or what would be I'm not sure what would be called. It's not really whitewashing. It'd be I'm not sure if you've seen the trailer, but L here is portrayed by African American, but that I can care less about. The story of it and how they went in the direction they did was odd. Like I said, the pacing aspects I felt weird. If you haven't ever seen the anime or anything, there's this character, Light, who gets this book called The Death Note, hence the name of the movie, or show, or anime, you want to call it. And then whoever name you write in the Death Note, they die. And if you don't specify how they die, they will die of a heart attack. Now, in the aspects to ensure that he is showing that, this isn't just some random accident that's happening to these people, somebody is doing this, he creates this persona by the name of Kira for himself, But in the anime and everything, they go about it more methodically, I think, understanding like this is how it's happening, this is who Kira is and everything. But in the movie, they do it so quickly. I feel it's just like Kira this, Kira that, Kira. It's like this huge thing happening in this short span of time. But in reality, for the movie in itself, that is, it's happening in this huge amount of time. And I don't think they portray that goodly in the fashion of time. Like I said, I think the pacing was off with it. Now, and in the aspects of The Tick, I think it was an okay show. I liked it. I liked the characters. I liked the whole setup of everything. I just feel it was too short. I've said this about some other stuff like Netflix, Castlevania. I felt it was too short. It's just like they cut you off so quickly. And with this, I find it to be even more so. It's like I felt they could have done so much more with these characters' development, as well as add more to where they cut it off. Now, at this point, I am straight up saying everything is going to be spoiler talk. If you haven't seen anything, if you haven't seen any of these shows or movie, right now, I suggest if you want to see them without any spoilers, move along, watch them, then come back. Now, but continuing with what I was saying about The Tick, it cuts off on this cliffhanger. Now, the thing is, in The Tick, they have this villain, and he's being shown as being dead. In the beginning, it's like there was this big fight a couple years ago, and he lost, and he's dead. And Arthur is the moth, pretty much, is trying to find all the information and just get information out of this, showing that it's not true. He isn't dead. He is alive. And at the end, he sees him, pretty much, because, in the grand scheme of things of Arthur, he was this little kid, and one of his great superheroes, who was defeated by the main villain, their ship crash lands on his dad, killing his dad, and then he watches these minions of the main villain kill them, and then the villain comes over, eats his ice cream, laughs in his face, and moves along. And at the end of the show, the villain pops up in front of him and says, "Cliffhanger!" And it ends right there. It ends on that shit, which annoyed the fuck out of me. Love the show. Just, what is with these 2 damn short shit that just don't really pay off much at all? The Defenders were short. 6 episodes too, I believe. But it had so much good payoff. I think, with them, their episodes were maybe a bit longer or something, but I don't know. I just felt there was more payoff there with the Defenders, especially with that how everything was happening before the Defenders, with the 2 seasons of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist. A lot of people hated Iron Fist. I found it enjoyable. Okay, seriously. A lot of people because the fight scenes. I can understand that the fight scenes were the cutting of it was a little jumpy. I can understand that, but overall, I felt it was a good representation of what the character was. People tend to look, I find, past that. They don't tend to look at, like, there was this kid who was in this plane accident that killed his parents, and he came off to this temple. He was raised by monks, pretty much when he was a wee little kid. He comes back into society when he's a young adult, and all the people who would know him, that knew him as kids and everything, don't believe it's him. Because how could it be? This plane crash. They never found any of the remains, and the parents' remains, any of it. They think this dude is just a wacko and everything. And the whole concept of everything that's happening, they go past that. Like, this seems understandable of what's happening with these people. I thought Iron Fist was a good show. Overall, character-wise at least. Fight-wise, maybe could have done better, but not too bad. But I felt, character-wise, it was a good show. Now, and like I said, in the Defenders, I think it all paid off. Yes, of course, a lot of stuff happening in the Defenders I thought was cool. Like, interesting in the way that you usually don't see in the shows like Daredevil and whatnot, is the villain being actually more humanizing. Whereas you see a lot of shit that happened in Daredevil and all that. It's just like, you can't really humanize with these people. They're just assholes, period. You just like, they're the bad guy, here's the good guy. Point A, point B, we're gonna get to the part where he kicks his ass and, the villain loses, the, hero wins. But in here, Sigourney Weaver's character seems more humanizing because of predicament and everything. Now, she later turns out to be, a straight up bitch, but still, like, you begin off being shown like she's dying. She's, she needs this elixir that helps keep her and the other hand members, the 5 fingers of the hand, what they call it. They need this elixir, this powder, really, pretty much, to turn into elixir to keep her alive, to stay off death. Because she wants to go home. They want to go home, which is Danny Rand's, area. I forget what the fuck it was called. Not Shaolin. That's somebody's name. Whatever that. This remote temple that apparently moves. But, you have the ending of, like, I believe it was the 2nd episode, where, like, they all, like, had the meeting, like, you saw where, Luke Cage and Iron Fist are a little bouts happening, and Iron Fist, gets his fist going and pops Luke Cage, like, he never had that happen before, outside of the villain in Luke Cage, but, hey, that happened. Then, you have Jessica Jones in the police station, and Daredevil, aka Matthew Murdock, comes in and he's like, you know what, I'm your lawyer, okay, shut up, and you get through this. But then you have in episode 3, you had the fight scene and everything, the main fight scene in the tower, which was pretty badass and all, the fight scenes were good, everything. I thought the plot was good, I thought everything, the way it went was good. Defenders, I thought it was a good show. Now moving on over to Death Note, like I said, I felt the pacing was off, and just the way they went some ways with this was weird as shit. Now, if you've never seen the original Death Note movies, in the first one, there's 2, which I thought was, like, the way they did it, they was cool and interesting. Here, the difference is, what happens with Light and his girlfriend. Not that way it ends, but how they pretty much, find one another. In the original movie, I believe they already were dating. Here, in this movie, they aren't dating. He's single. And the way he gets her, hang out with him and everything, and they start dating, is he shows her the Death Note and shows her that, it is real, it is powerful. He can kill people with this and shit. It's just, I thought that was odd. Interesting the way it pays off, because the original way they did in the movie for him to forcefully have to kill her, they kill her in the first movie, they kill her here, is Light is being chased by this, smart young detective, somebody about his age, by the name of L, pretty much. And to throw him and his father, who works with him in both these movies, he has this teacher that really hates him, kill his girlfriend. his girlfriend never knew about the Death Note. So to throw, everybody off the trail of Light being Kira, being this, killer, he has somebody kill his girlfriend right in front of him. So, that way he's like, I can't be Light. What just happened? My girlfriend is dead. Here, he kills her kind of that way, but for the most part, he kills her to live. Because there's many rules with the Death Note. Like I said, rule 1, whoever writes a person's name and has to think of their face, because, you can have multiple people with the same name. I'm Jeremiah Yaki. There's other people with the name Jeremiah Yaki. At least I know one other. But you have to write their name down. So most times it's not both names. Sometimes you can just get their first name, but I believe it's both names. You also have to, have the image of their face in your head. Otherwise, nothing will happen. There's a rule also. You can burn a page, but only one page and a name on that page will, that person will not die. So, at one point, also, that you find out that people other than Light can write names in there and they die. And at one point, his girlfriend writes his name in the Death Note. And to ensure he doesn't die, he has to give the Death Note to his girlfriend. And the way he goes about it, to ensure his survivor, sorry, I can say that word, to ensure his survivor, he survives, there, how about that? He writes down this whole big plan where if she takes the Death Note, she will die. But if she doesn't, she's good. But in the end, she takes the Death Note. So in the end, she dies, and him expecting most likely that was going to happen. They fall off this, if you haven't seen the trailer tonight, there's like this huge Ferris wheel. They're at the top. They fall. She falls pretty much straight down on the ground. Boom, dead instantly. He falls in the water safely, and the note with his name on it flies out of the page into this barrel of burning whatever, wood I'm guessing. Elle sees that and shit, but it's just like, I thought a lot of what's happening was interesting, but at the same time there was just like the beginning when he first sees the Death God, he freaks the fuck out. I'm thinking, this doesn't seem like a really good movie. This seems a little too comical, of how he's freaking so much out. But then I think about it like, well, how the fuck would you react to, this big, huge, 8-foot demon-looking motherfucker, as he says? You would freak the fuck out. It was interesting. Death Note was interesting, but again, I think they took the wrong approach. The problem with a lot of these Western medias, including Netflix, with animes, they turn them into movies. When they go, this whole live action aspects. Not with the animation, not with any of that, because, they have their own animation here on Netflix. But whenever they take an anime or force that's an anime that's based off a manga, which is a manga itself. Anytime we get it over here in the United States, we usually turn it into a fucking movie. Which is the wrong fucking media for this shit. There are reasons why they were called anime and not animated movies. Because it worked better at longer lengths of time. And that's what I think was one of the issues here. I would give it like a 5 out of 10, maybe a 6 out of 10. But the issue in here with a lot of these movies that are made from animes, based off of animes, Granted, this is like the best version of it, I think, but still, it's just, the format of a movie is a short one. And granted, they leave it on like a kind of a cliffhanger that is the oddest fucking cliffhanger I've ever seen. He tells his father, who pretty much straight up looks at him and says, "You're Light, aren't you?" And he's like, he asks him, "How'd you do it?" And Light tells him pretty much how he went about killing his girlfriend and everything, making sure it looks like he's not Light. I mean, Light's not Kira. Seriously. It's just felt so rushed as a lot of these animes turned movies. Just didn't feel right. Seriously. Pacing. Just the pacing alone in that middle section of trying to progress so much in such a little time. Because you don't really feel this form of time going by. Like, how many days has it been? It's like, you hear them say, like, it's been 3 weeks now, or some shit like that, But you just don't feel it. You can hear it, but you just don't feel that time lapse of happening, you know? The pacing was just so off. I felt they could have done better with. Like I said, people would assume this was going to be a show, which it would have been better if it was a show. But it wasn't. And this show, which, again, I say, good show, it's just, I don't feel they really, you know, flushed out the characters that were in the show as much as possible. They did a character. They flushed one character out, which is Arthur, which is, he was kind of the basis of the old show, but this one, it's just like he was too much at the forefront of this show. They gave him too much time, and the show's called The Tick. The Tick, not Arthur. The Tick. And you rarely ever see the Tick, especially outside of Arthur. Whenever the Tick is on the screen, you're bound to see Arthur. And I know he's supposed to be, you know, kind of Tick's sidekick, but it's just the way they went about it and everything. It was odd to me. It just didn't feel natural. It felt too forced, you know, because that's what pretty much the Tick was doing. He was forcing himself onto Arthur. You know, it's like, I am this great superhero and you are my sidekick and we must be together. And Arthur is arguing it throughout the whole time, and it's just like, again, with the pacing, it just felt like it was too long of a pacing. Not too long, like just a little too long. They could have, you know, shortened up a bit on some parts. But all in all, I just, there was too much, I felt, Arthur. There was these other characters that had some screen time, but not enough. Especially not in 6 episodes, which were barely, not even an hour long. I think they were like all at least 40 minutes long, maybe less. I felt they could have flushed these characters out a bit more, you know? And there's like only, you know, Arthur and the Tick really, and his sister. There's like a couple of characters that are, you know, known from, you know, especially with the original show, but there's like some of them that are just not apparent. And now there was a live action show, but either before it or after, I'm not sure which, there was an animated kind of show, which was pretty good. But there's like more characters there than there were in this show, and I'm not sure if there was a character ever called Overkill in the other stuff, but he was here. Just, again, I felt like it was, show itself was too short, but the pacing on Arthur and the Tick was too long itself. Just like a little bit, like I said, not too much, just a little. Like the whole Arthur, you know, needs to become part of the team, Destiny's Calling and all that stuff. It's like he was arguing against it for so long, pretty much up to the last episode. I feel maybe not the last episode, maybe the next last episode, but still, it's just he argued pretty much the whole time. It's just, like I said, it was a 6 episode series, you know. Just, and they like had the first episode, the pilot, pretty much out for like a month. So it's just like I saw that like a month ago. Like, this seems interesting. I can't wait. And now I've seen it, and it's just like, are we just for this? Seriously, like I said, Daredevil did. I'm not Daredevil. The Defenders did this whole, you know, fleshing of everything out, the way they did this story, these characters and everything, really well in the Defenders in their time frame. The Tick, not so much. Good show. I'd recommend watching just to be entertained. Maybe, you know, just, you know, one of those popcorn kind of movie things. You know, you just turn your brain off and enjoy what you're enjoying. Same with Death Note. But it's just, there was so much they could have done with it. I felt they fell short. They felt flat with that show. Good show. It's just, I'd rate it a 4 out of 10. If we're going, you know, rating stuff, I'd give it a 4 out of 10. I'd give Death Note, say, a 6 out of 10, and The Defenders, I'd give a 8 out of 10. There was a few like sluggish parts there, but like the whole Danny going up against, just hanging out a bit and just like him arguing too much that it is his destiny to defeat the Hand. He must go. I can't stay hidden. I must go. It's like he argued that so heavily. I felt that was maybe a little out of character for him. Like I think he would be a smart person to stop and think. Maybe they have a point. Let's talk about it. Like he's too aggressive in doing things sometimes. It seems just like he has this anger about him. That you don't think he would have since he was raised by monks. He'd be a cooler person. He'd be a bit more level-headed. That would be mainly my only gripe I think of that show. Yeah. But I thank you for watching this kind of review thing. I hope you informed, I hope you entertained, and I hope you have a rock'em sock'em day. Peace.